Yeah.
And the most he gets out of it is a 2-minute matching minor. That's completely uncalled for, in my opinion. I mean, that's a major penalty. That's some pretty nasty stuff you're doing there to a guy who's in a defenseless position.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, he was almost basically sitting on his back or leaning down on him, and his head was just banging off the ice. And then you think about Sidney Crosby throwing his water bottle, which he said it was an accident, but to me, he
yeah.
looked like he threw it out of frustration, and that didn't get called either.
Oh, he did. I mean, Sidney Crosby, as much of a talented hockey player as he is, because he's an incredible talent, he does not like to get pushed around. He does not like to get hit. And Nashville's been physical with him. Every team's been physical with him, and you'll see him crack. I think he has 1 goal this finals, I believe. Both he and Malkin only have 1 or 2 goals this finals. They do not like to get pushed around. Luckily for Crosby, also has Phil Kessel and Jake Getzel and Jason Schultz and Evgeny Malkin to kind of carry the load as he's not scoring. But PK Subban's been in his hip pocket all series, and he's tired of it. And, yeah, I mean, he did that out of frustration. He threw that water bottle on the ice, and he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and his first response was that, I didn't know, I wasn't trying to do that. It was a mistake. But you could clearly see the frustration on his face. And to me, that's what told me, like, wow, this guy's – and I haven't followed hockey for that long, but this guy – is kind of two-sided. You know, he does, everything for the media, and he makes it exciting and all that, but he's got a dirty side to him, which I actually never really seen before until tonight.
Oh, yeah, he's got a very dirty side. I mean, it was just before the playoffs against Ottawa where he took a 2-handed slash at Mark Mathot for the Ottawa Senators and essentially cut the tip of his finger off. Tip of his finger is gone. No penalty there either. So he has a dirty side. He has a bit of a nasty push at the boundary side, but I think just because of who he is and what team he plays on, the NHL will always kind of look the other way on him.
Yeah. Now on Pittsburgh's side, it seems like for this whole series, they've been talking about Nick Bonillo. And I don't know if he's played at all this whole series, but he was also a game time decision again tonight, and he didn't end up playing again. But they didn't need him. I mean, this was like early and often two goals early in the game, and then from there it was just one after the other. And I think so. What's your thoughts going into Game 6, which will be Sunday? In Nashville, what's your thoughts on that game and your prediction?
Well, the last time Pekka Rinne was pulled in after Game 2 going into Game 3, he put up a fantastic performance in Game 3 and gave up 1 goal, I believe. So I expect Pekka Rinne to bounce back in Game 6 in Nashville. We know what that atmosphere is going to be like out there on Nashville. There are reports of 40,000 people watching the game outdoors, which is insane, including the 17,000 inside the building. So the atmosphere is going to be there. Pekka Rinne, I believe, will bounce back to his form from Game 3 and 4, and I will pick Nashville kind of hesitantly to win Game 6 and push a Game 7. But the way this series is going, if Nashville does win a Game 6, I don't give them much chance in a Game 7 in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And like we mentioned, it's been the home team is the one that wins, but Nashville, man, they've got so much momentum behind them when they're at home. They got Tennessee Titans players. They've got the country singer, I believe her husband plays for the team, Carrie Underwood. I mean, they've got so much, and it's exciting. But when they don't play at home, that's the problem. And Game 7 will be at home. But they've got to get past Game 6. But I think they'll get it. I think this will go 7. And it's been a pretty exciting series, to say the least. Jake Gretzel, who's been He's been, in my notes, I've got him down pretty much in every game, probably except I think game 3 and 4. But he's been on fire this whole series. Malkin, if they do win this and they get back to back, what does that mean for Sidney Crosby's legacy? Because they're already putting his stats out, where he is matched up against some of the best. What do you think that puts him at?
I think if Pittsburgh was to repeat, they'd be the first team to repeat since those great Red Wing teams from the late 90s who went back to back against Philly and Washington. This will give Sidney 3 cups, obviously 2 back to back, then winning that one, I believe, in 2008 or 9 it was against Detroit. So giving him 3 cups in about 9 years or so. There's no doubt that he, once it's probably said and done, will go down as one of the best players of this generation. I'm not sure if personally, I still hold very highly the days of Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Bobby Orr, Gordie Howe, as those are the kind of the Mount Rushmore of hockey. And it's Sidney Crosby, as talented as he is, he'll always be remembered as a 3-cup Stanley Cup champion if they win. One of the greatest players of his generation, but I think he'll always have that reputation of being kind of a crybaby to go with him. But he'll be a Hockey Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. But I think for Pittsburgh, this is kind of 3 and 9 years in this era is a fantastic accomplishment. So I think if they were to win the cup in the next 2 games, I think history will remember this Pittsburgh Penguins era very, 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 very highly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think he'll definitely go down as one of the best, definitely in the Hall of Fame. So let's kind of switch gears. We've talked about Game 6, if it goes to a Game 7. But let's talk about the Stars a little bit. I know you write for Defending Big D, which is the blog site for Dallas Stars. What was your thoughts on the Stars season? To me, it was disappointing. But with you, following the game in and game out, what was your thoughts on the full season?
Yeah, I think disappointing is really the only way you can describe this past season. I don't think this team ever fully mentally recovered from that Game 7 against St. Louis in the playoffs last season, 2 years ago, the season prior. Especially with all the injuries they had early on, all the players they lost. This was just really a lost season. It just never clicked with them. The goaltending never showed up. The defense never showed up. Between Sagan, Ben, Sharp, Eakin, Spezza, Antoine Roussel, you name it, these guys never got going. They couldn't duplicate that season they had 2 years ago where they were the number 1 seed in the West. They made some changes going into the offseason to kind of get that rolling. But I think the one word to describe this past season was just disappointing.
Yeah. I think there was high expectations, definitely from what happened last year. And without us really seeing anything related to what happened last year, I think definitely, I think it was disappointing. Now, you mentioned Ken Hitchcock. So obviously Ken Hitchcock is coming back, and also not to mention the previous coach getting fired, and then Ben Bishop also adding him into the mix. So those are two. I think Ben Bishop is a huge acquisition. Ken Hitchcock, do you think he's going to come in and make a difference? And what's your thoughts on Ben Bishop as well?
I think, honestly, I was thoroughly and utterly shocked that Jim Nill went with Ken Hitchcock. I honestly thought he would go a different direction. But I do think with the style that Ken Hitchcock coaches, a defensive structure style, is exactly what the Stars needed and what they missed last season. Lindy Ruff wanted to play that frenetic, high-energy, puck possession, speed offensive game. Ken Hitchcock is gonna is going to teach defense. It's going to be structure. It's about possession in the neutral zone. It's about winning the puck battles along the boards on the half wall. It's a completely different coaching style and strategy altogether. And I think if he can balance that defensive responsibility and strategy with the offensive skill this team has, they can rebound in a big way. The talent is still there. And Jim Nill is not done. And like you said, Ben Bishop was an incredible acquisition for this team. I know there were rumors the last year or two that the Stars were going to do a midseason trade for him with Tampa. Then he ended up going to L.A. It didn't work out with him and Jonathan Quick there with the Kings. But Ben Bishop played his junior hockey in Frisco many years ago for the Texas Tornado. He knows the area. He from what I've seen from him in articles and in media clippings, he's excited to be back in the Texas area. But they currently have $15 million wrapped up in goalie salary. So between Ben Bishop, Antti Niemi, and Kari Lehtinen, Jim Nill's got his work cut out and he's shedding 2 of those salaries.
Right. Somebody's going to have to go. So it's a matter of who it's going to be. But I think we've got a lot to look forward to. I think there had to be that type of reaction as far as the coach getting fired, and also adding Bishop, because the goalie play has been criticized quite a bit all over media and most importantly in the organization. So I'm looking forward to next year. Stanley Cup Finals will be ending shortly, and now we got a break up until football. We got basketball still going on. Real quick, NBA Finals. Describe describe what is going on right now. What's your thoughts on the finals before I let you go?
In a word, boring.
Blowing out.
Just boring. I mean, I think Game 3 was closer. I believe it was only a couple-point game. I think Game 3, but Games 1 and 2 were just blowouts completely. If Golden State doesn't win Game 4, I'll be completely shocked.
Yeah. And that's a sad situation for the Cavs and for LeBron and for everything that they tried to do to try to compete, and it just didn't work out. So.
Exactly. And just a couple of important dates for Stars fans to kind of look forward to this month in June, just to kind of keep track. Next week, June 12th, all teams will submit their protected list for the expansion draft for Vegas. And then the expansion draft will be June 18th to the 22nd. If you're a Stars fan, you may want to just kind of keep your eyes and ears open on that and see which players were protected, which players were not protected. Be very interesting to see defensively who this team protects between Stephen Johns and Jamie Alexiak. And then the NHL draft is June 23rd, with Dallas having the number 3 and number 28 pick overall in the first round. So a lot is going around with the number 3 pick. Will they trade it? Will they keep it? So I would just kind of be looking out for that and seeing what Jim Nill and Ken Hitchcock want to do with that number 3 pick.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. So everybody be on the lookout, watch out. I'll be sharing it out on my social media. I'm sure Mike will be sharing it as well. And this is Mike Albanese, and you can find him on Twitter. That's M Albanese, so that's MALBANESE 1922, and he writes for Defending Big D. That's defendingbigd.com. So appreciate you so much for coming on, and you have a good one.
You too. Thanks as always.
All right, no problem.
The number 1 cheap rocket jersey firm.
Lonely Hearts Cafe.
Spicy conversations.
It's Vince Wright, the sports governor from Minnesota.
Mandela
Microwave.
Reggie Long, a.k.a. Dollars and Cents.
My name is NatanetiEti.